Hey guys, welcome to another episode of This Week on College Football with Michael. Today, we're going to be talking about, does size actually matter? Now, I'm a guy myself, I'm asking that question. Does size really matter? But we're going to really go into detail. Does the size matter for everything? How far away you are, how many inches there is left. Let's get into it. Last Saturday, I had the pleasure of going down to Vanderbilt to go see Vanderbilt take on Missouri. We traveled down there, just me and a few friends. We were on camera a lot, actually. Anytime they showed Marching Mizzou, we were on there. Throw up a picture of us down there. But we lost, 17-10. Pribula got hurt, courtesy of Kirby Moore calling some insane calls. Did the Vanderbilt player hurt us on purpose? I don't know. Looked kind of a little dirty, like he did a little gator crawl roll. I definitely think there could have been some ill intent there. Just a little death roll, but it's not my place to say anything. Let's get into the game. Does size actually matter? Game started off complete defensive battle of Mizzou's defense shutting down Diego Pavia, who is still a Heisman candidate. Beats me to it. I think he's a great quarterback and all. But last week he did nothing. I don't know why his Heisman stats improved. He had a rushing touchdown. He just did not do all that better. Zollers, who came in the fourth quarter, had a better stat line than he did. Beats me to it. Started scoring in the second half. Both teams hit field goals. Then Robert Meyer of Mizzou missed a field goal. Drinkwitz's play calling at the end of that first half with time management really blew me away. Mizzou had it pretty much 1st and 10 at the 20. Took a penalty, or took a holding after Zollers had a great run that would put us into the 6. Then Drink after that just did not call timeouts. Ended up having to punt it, sent it into overtime. Sent it to the second half, pardon me. Then second half, Diego kind of woke up. Had a few nice plays. There was a screen pass, which debates are still being talked about on Twitter. Was there a block in the back? Was there a holding? You let me know what you think.
Minutes to go. MK Young bounces it outside. MK Young down the sideline. Jalen Catalon in pursuit. Can he save a touchdown? He cannot. House call. And Vanderbilt's got the lead.
It's pretty obvious, the Vanderbilt O-lineman just goes up and shoves him in the back, but refs didn't see it. Vanderbilt scores. They're up 10-3. Later on, fourth quarter goes by. Complete defensive game. Who is it? Jamal Roberts on Missouri just straight up gets strip sacked. I don't know if Zollers just butchered the handoff, or what the deal was. It's just complete strip sack. Vanderbilt takes the ball. They would take 4 minutes off the clock, go down, score, take a lead. Little dramatic finishing to that, though. 1st and goal at the 1. Mizzou causes a strip sack and then runs it back to the end zone. Refs give it to Missouri, but yet he was ruled down. I was at the game. They did not show a replay. I don't have opinion, but it looked like he was down. That's whatever. And then Mizzou gets the ball with a minute left, drives down the field with 6 seconds left. Matt Zollers heaves it down to Kevin Coleman. Kevin Coleman catches it on the goal line and then runs brought down. People are saying, does size matter? Does size matter? With the how many inches do you have, does that matter? Yes, it fucking matters. Kevin Coleman was about an inch away from the plane. His ass was on the plane, but the ball did not cross the plane to the goal line. No touchdown. Missouri loses. Missouri loses, right, and that was right in front of me. I have PTSD from that game. Whenever, I don't remember when exactly it was, but they started playing that song Shout or whatever, thing that Buffalo Bills play. I was just sitting there, just standing there, just contemplating. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I support a team that has Kirby Moore as the OC who doesn't do shit? We have the best damn running back in all of college football, and the most we can do with him is run him 12 times a game. You need to give this guy 30 carries a game. He had 20 carries against Vanderbilt, only 97 yards. If you give that ball to him in the fourth quarter, we win that game. We march down the field, we take the lead. And plus, if we would have scored a touchdown there, you got to go for 2. I don't trust Robert Meyer at all to kick a field goal. I mean, he bricked one in the game earlier. He hasn't been consistent all season. Missed the overtime winner against Auburn. He missed 2, I guess. He just hasn't been good. Really disappointing showing. Vanderbilt's been saying that they're loud. Their stadium's loud, which I gotta give it to them. It got loud in there for being Vanderbilt for having 50, 48. Nice little stadium. The renovations there are actually really nice, so props to Vanderbilt. They've had a great job. Diego, I think he will be a Heisman finalist. I just don't understand why the hype goes up whenever he does absolutely nothing against Missouri. I don't get it. I guess, if he has a great game against Texas, on the road in a very good SEC environment, Texas is not that good. We'll get into that game later. But if he can prove himself there, I will consider him in a Heisman. And then UCLA went to Indiana. UCLA is obviously riding high. They won 3 straight games heading into this game. People thought it was going to be a good game, just for a little bit. People thought UCLA could have kept it close. Second play of the game, they throw a pick 6. Yeah, UCLA, they haven't really beaten anyone that good, so I don't know why people were expecting this game to be close. They won in East Lansing, which is pretty good, I guess, just for a road game in the Big Ten. Michigan State's, although, not that good. Beating Maryland last week, 2017. Not bad. Maryland, though, not the greatest. I do like them. I like their OC. Nico's finally playing good football. But Indiana, just obviously way too much for them to handle. Not good enough to even handle or level with them, I guess you could say. Just got completely murdered in that game. And then Texas A&M LSU, the game where the Aggies and the 12th man completely took over Death Valley. I haven't seen that in, honestly, probably my lifetime. In at least 19 years, I don't think I've ever seen that while being a fan of college football. A team walks into Death Valley and takes their stadium over. Obviously, Brian Kelly got fired. Right move after what just happened, losing 49-25. Not good. Not good. Obviously, A&M still sitting at 3, which is rightfully so. They are a damn good football team, and this finally is the year that they're connecting. Mike Elo's done a fantastic job in his second year. But it also is around this time in the year where A&M tends to somehow go 8-4. They do this every year. It's usually around end of October, early November. I don't think that's possible this season that they go 8-4. If they do that, that is the biggest choke job in college football history. Going, what are they now? 8-0 and then losing their last 4 against Texas, Missouri. Who else they play? Missouri's in 2 weeks. They're on the bye right now. They go, at Missouri, 2:30 on the 8th. Against Carolina. They got Samford and Texas. I think they go 11-1. They finish the season 11-1 playoff and then a trip to Atlanta. I think they lose to Texas, but that's not this week. Now we're going to bye this week. Yeah, LSU, though, they're in a complete dumpster fire. Feel bad for those fans. They deserve so much more than what they have. Blake Baker could be the coach for the rest of the season, and then we'll get into that a little bit later on who's going to replace that job. I got some ideas. Poor LSU, man. And then Alabama went to Carolina, had a heart attack of the game. Ty Simpson led them down the field in the final, 2 minutes to win that game? Going into that game, I just felt like Carolina could have kept it close, Obviously, they had their Super Bowl against against Bama, 2010 or something? Whenever they beat them for, their only one time. Just seeing a big ranked team go into Willie B is obviously just has upset written all over it. Look a few years back, Hendon Hooker in Tennessee. I shouldn't say Hendon Hooker because that's the game he got hurt in, but you get the point. Alabama 7-1 right now. They'll win out. They'll also be a playoff team. They'll be playing A&M in a SEC title game. That's without a doubt. Wisconsin, Oregon. Wisconsin held Oregon to 7 at half, which is really surprising to me. Wisconsin's a terrible team. Oregon are they legit? Is Oregon legit? Are they a legit team that will actually win? No, they're not. They are not. Dan Lannings's a fantastic coach, but I just don't think, they're going to be in that way. I don't see them winning it this year. I think they'll win a game. I bet they host a playoff game up in Eugene. But they're not going to break through and go to the next level. They just won't. They don't have the quarterback to do it this year. I don't know. Then we go down to Norman for Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Ole Miss won 34-26. Lane Kiffin, after the game, was doing this. People were saying, this is my house, I'm staying here, or whatever. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be in Oxford next year. I think the Lane train's going to roll on. We'll get to that later on. But poor Oklahoma. I shouldn't say poor Oklahoma. Fuck Oklahoma. But Brent Venables is not a good coach. And Oklahoma fans are thinking that John Mateer's... preseason they all thought John Mateer was going to be Heisman. Even up until, I guess, Red River. People even were saying once he was going to come back, he was going to be Heisman in Red River. No. It's just not possible. He's a good quarterback. He just is not that good. And, you see it today. His broken hand still. He's still playing with a broken hand. I think they rushed his return, which that can't do anything. That only hurts it. But, obviously, showed today. They could have beat them. Just had a terrible fourth quarter. Could have beat Ole Miss. They just had a terrible fourth quarter. Then, BYU, Iowa State. Iowa State was supposed to have a great year this year, possibly being a playoff team, but that obviously got swapped with BYU. BYU's 8-0, ranked 11th as of now. They would be pretty much the last team in. Iowa State had a lead on BYU. I think it was 24-10 or 24-14 at one point, or 24-10 or whatever. And then they choked it and lost 41-27. What is happening up in Ames? Rocco Beck had a great season up until Cincinnati. Played Cincinnati, came back, got completely murdered. They lost. Gave up on that final play, which is really weird. But the brakes are coming off. I don't know if Matt Campbell is eyeing the Penn State job or what, if he's planning on jumping ship, what his deal is, but it's not good. And then BYU surprised a lot of people this year. Obviously, last year's success, they could have been a playoff team, but their quarterback, or whatever his name was, the Jewish guy, just completely choked end of the season. BYU, I say that. They just completely choked end of the season. Played Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. But, yeah, I think BYU, this finally is the year that BYU is going to break through, make playoff. Could be two Big 12 teams. I don't think so, but it's always possible. There shouldn't be, and just like how Notre Dame should not be a playoff team. Poor Oklahoma State. Transfer portal. Mike Gundy cannot compete with it whenever he was still there, or as it 2 weeks ago. Terrible. Virginia, North Carolina. UVA won 17-16 in overtime. I got to give credit to Bill. We're going for two at the end there. If you're playing a big ranked team, or not big, but you're playing a ranked team at your own home, just go for the win. Get the upset. Get your feet back on. Try to go make a bowl game. They're not going to make a bowl game now. If they would have won that game, yeah, we'd have that conversation. But, you win that game, you still have something to fight for at the end of the season, I guess. Tennessee puts the trumping on Kentucky. Just like Kentucky and North Carolina, they're two similar programs. If they wanted to care about football, they could. UNC thought they were going in the right direction hiring Bill, but Kentucky, they need to get rid of Stoops. I don't care what the buyout is. You got to be able to get rid of that guy. He is just doing nothing for your program. Obviously, Joey Aguilar had a fantastic game. That's the best quarterback that plays in the state of Tennessee. He went 20 for 26 with almost 400 passing yards and 3 TDs. He had 396 passing yards, which is just incredible. Memphis upset South Florida to give South Florida second loss of the season. And it's really just between Navy and Memphis now of who will get that second slot, or the slot for the group of 5 in the playoff. Louisville beats Boston College. Louisville being 6-1. Miller Moss. Another great day for him. Cincinnati's a team that surprised a lot of people, too. They beat Baylor. Sawyer Robinson, still leading college football in passing yards. Yeah, Cincinnati, they're not obviously a playoff team. They're a good Big 12 team. Texas gets an incredible comeback on Mississippi State. They won that game 45-38 in overtime. I did not watch any of it because I was at the exact same time as Missouri Vanderbilt was, obviously down in Nashville. But Texas was down in that game, pretty big. So I had a great comeback against State to win that. Got to give props to Sarkisian. Looks like he had some genius play calling. Obviously returned that punt to tie the game with about 2 minutes left, send it into overtime. Then just completely shut down Mississippi State in overtime. Washington puts a monsoon game on Illinois, winning 42-25. That's a team in the Big Ten that could make some noise, I think. This year, they already lost to Ohio State, but they end the season with Oregon. And if they could win out, they could be in the conversation for a playoff game. They're sitting at 2 losses right now with a loss at Ohio State at home 24-6, and then at Michigan 24-7. But, you play at Wisconsin, which is winnable, Purdue at home, which is winnable, at UCLA, which is winnable, and then you end the season off against Oregon, and that game is in Seattle. That's something you want to keep an eye out on. I'm not saying they're going to do it. Even if they go 10-2, a 10-2 Big Ten team, I think that would get in for sure. Especially being Oregon, that's a very nice thing to have on your resume. And then Houston beat Arizona State. It's another program. Dillingham, is he going to go LSU? Is he getting a call down to Baton Rouge, or is he looking at Happy Valley? That was a team that was supposed to be Big 12 frontrunners this year, and now they're 5-3 and 3-2 in the Big 12. I don't know. Nebraska beats Northwestern. Go Big Red. Kansas State wins at 17th against Kansas. It's just great to see. I mean, I hate both teams, obviously. It's just hilarious to see, K-State, I guess they're 4-4 now, 3-2 in Big 12 play. So they kind of had to come back, but it's just hilarious to see 17 straight years of beating up on Kansas. That's the one thing I can agree with them on. It's awesome to see. Auburn had a great comeback, scoring 17 straight points against Arkansas. Arkansas is another program that's in just a terrible state. Bobby Petrino. Is he going to become the head coach next year? It seems like something Arkansas would do. Or does James Franklin go back down there? Guess we'll have to see. Iowa looks great against Minnesota, scoring 41 points. Could Mark Gronkowski actually be a good quarterback at Iowa? I don't think he has that much eligibility left. He might only be like a year, if that. I don't really know. But if they come back next year, could that be a Big Ten contender? Could Iowa be a Big Ten contender? This year, no. I mean, they're 4-1 in the Big Ten right now, and they still have to. They're at 6-2 right now, 4-1 in the Big Ten. They got Oregon at home, at USC, Michigan State, and then at Nebraska done the season. I'm gonna put something on that. I'm gonna say they go 1-3, finishing yet again 8-4. It's something they always do. Lost to Oregon next. That's in 2 weeks. They're on a bye week now, and then they go up to the Ducks go to Iowa City or wherever they are at in Iowa. Something like that. Yeah, give me the Ducks in that. They have to go to Southern California. At USC, it's a loss. Michigan State at home, you should win. And then at Nebraska, I'm sure Iowa will win on a field goal. So let's give them a 9-3. Let's just give them 9-3 on that. Be nice. They always beat Nebraska. I don't like to see Nebraska win, even though I have a Go Big Red behind me, but that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Let's see. What else do we have to add on? Yeah, Navy, 7-0. Are they going to be the Group of 5 represent? Later on this season, they have to go to North Texas, who was a good American team, at Notre Dame, South Florida at home, at Memphis, and then Army-Navy. That Army-Navy game won't talk, so they'll only play 11 regular season games. Playoff already be out by the Army-Navy game. That game won't matter for them, really. I mean, obviously, it still matters 100%, but grand scheme of things for playoff, that does not matter. Yeah, out North Texas, that's going to be a tough game. Every game out, the final 4 games, is going to be impossible. That's why I'm giving the slighter edge towards Memphis, because Navy-Memphis also in Memphis. Winner of that game, I bet gets it. Unless if Memphis somehow has a terrible colossal choke. Which, hey, that's possible. I'm not a big fan of Memphis. Don't like their fans. Memphis has a lot of talk for a team that has been pushed around and been rejected by the Big 12 twice in the ACC. They got a lot of talk for that. It's just unbelievable, Memphis. UMass is 0-8 still. I don't know why they joined the MAC. That move does absolutely nothing for them. It's just brutal. Then final game of the night on Saturday was Colorado and Utah. At the end of the second, it was 42-0. Deion Sanders just got completely bitched on by Utah. It was 43-0 at half. Then Colorado gets a mercy point at the end of that game. Yeah, Deion Sanders. I saw the other day someone saying Deion come to Mizzou if Drinkwitz would leave. Just mind-boggling. So far, we have the LSU, Arkansas, Florida, and Penn State job open. Who's going to take those 4? Let's start off with Penn State. So far, they've been eyeing Drinkwitz. Pretty much every school's been eyeing the same people. I don't see Drinkwitz going there. A move that Penn State would do, which this might get some backlash, a move that Penn State would do is hire Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's still a good coach. Not really, but he's still a decent coach, and I can see Penn State pulling the trigger on him. If they don't do that, they might go for Kelly Dillingham. Arkansas, I think they get James Franklin. You know, James Franklin, he would fit in great at Arkansas. Fit in great with that program. He was at Vandy before. He knows how the SEC is. He's a good coach, he can recruit. He just can't put that on the field and win big games. I truly do think James Franklin will be going to Fayetteville. And now LSU and Ole Miss, LSU and Florida, which is the talk that everyone's going to be talking about. One of those teams will get Lane Kiffin. The other one, we don't know. And if I'm Lane Kiffin, he straight up came out and said it's not going to be a bidding war, but we all know it's going to be. We all know it will be. And if I were him, I'd take LSU, though. LSU has more money, and then in this day and age in college football, LSU is a better program than Florida, without a doubt in my mind. I do think Lane Kiffin is going to go to LSU. If you would have told me that like a month ago, I would have said no, he's still going to Florida. Or whenever Napier got fired, I would have said he's going to go to Florida. But after this LSU job opens up, I think he's going to go there. Now Florida, they're throwing a lot of money in Eli Drinkwitz's direction from what I've heard. Does Drinkwitz go to Florida? I don't know, and I don't want to say yes, I don't want to say no, because obviously I'm a Tiger. I don't know what to say, but I think that's their front runner. I'm not going to comment on that one too much. All I'm going to say is that's their front runner. If Drinkwitz goes to Florida, that's going to be very disappointing. That's another SEC job that opens up. But it's just super disappointing that if he would leave. And no Florida fan wants him. Florida fans do not want Drink. No one in the SEC wants Drink. They all say he's the nerd and whatnot. They always just say all that crap about him. He's a great coach, and he's starting to get discovered more that he's a great coach. I mean, what is he, 35-7, and since 2023, losing to top 10 Vanderbilt, Alabama, who last year, South Carolina on the road, Texas A&M on the road, LSU and Georgia are 6 losses. He's a great coach. He can recruit. Look at Missouri's recruiting classes. He'd fit in great at Florida, and they have all the money in the world that they could throw at Drinkwitz. It's just, will he leave? And if he does leave, I want Eric Morris from North Texas. He has a great offensive scheme. He can develop quarterbacks. I mean, he developed Mahomes, Mateer, Cam Ward. If Matt Zoller stays, he's only a freshman. I'm not saying anything, but he's already a great quarterback. If we could get Eric Morris to build him up, assuming Drink does leave and Morris comes to Missouri, Zollers could be a great quarterback, and Missouri could yet again be another threat in the SEC, which we are right now. We have been for the last 2 seasons. I mean, this year, kind of it's over, but you get the idea. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of, Michael, I don't know what I'm calling this shit yet. But I hope it answers also the question, does size actually matter? I'm a guy. I got to figure that out. And I said, yes, it matters. So, take what you will with that. Have a good one. Good night.